let's talk about something that's actually pretty important as well. When you're living this experience, and we talk about abundance, right? Everybody creates. Everybody's creating, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. You're still creating. Okay, it's more or less like when people talk about free will. If you're not aware, I guess we can actually say that your free will is not really infringed on. You're just basically going with the flow, thinking that you are making these decisions when you are actually not. It's almost like giving you an ultimatum or giving you a stipulation. See, like I'll give you an example. In order for you to keep your job, you would have to get a jab, right? Now, you really don't want to get it, but you also don't want to lose your job. So you'll just get it anyway. But you think you made that decision and you really didn't make that decision. They made it for you, but you think you made that decision. All right? Because it's kind of like I mentioned in previous videos, it's like testing your gangster or testing your manhood. See, a man would basically go and figure something else to do because he is not letting anybody touch his body, which is his woman. The woman is the body. That's the church, the body of the church. The head would be the man, right? When you look at it overall, you know how they say that in The Secret that feeling is the key, right? So feeling is the key. Logic and reasoning is masculine, while feeling is feminine. The body feels all these things. Whenever you're going to kill a snake, you take the head out. And this is why they say that where the head goes, the body follows. So your body is very obedient to you, whether you're doing things in a negative state or a positive state, or things benefiting you or not benefiting you. It's you're the one that's leading and captaining this ship in these wild, wild seas that we call the law of water and the law of the land. You are in charge. A lot of people think that they're acquiring a lot of power through the means of the physical material realm. You notice how, and this requires a strong mental state, right? That's why they say you have to have your mind right for you to be successful, because you got to have your head in the game. Even though this game is rigged, right? To have you believe that success comes down to material and physical means of things, and you neglect the real that's within you. So in other words, you play this masculine role, the go-getter. You got to go work hard. They tell you got to go work hard, and that's true. It's fine. You work hard for your things, what you want. You're a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? So you go and acquire these things by working hard. Your body follows, and it follows a rhythm of where you set your mind to, but you neglect the real light within you because you're chasing the light of luxury outside of you. That's why they say lux is the measure of light, but that's the false light. See, your money is not backed up by anything. It's just paper. It's just paper, but it's real physical energy that you have to go put physical work to acquire. Or if you had your masculine and feminine intact, you can actually attract this energy in the form of other people, right? Because you can't make money unless you have the support of other people. Other people, meaning would be like your customers of any kind of service that you're providing. And I want you to think about something very carefully. Women in this physical realm are a very important source of power for men. Why do you think that some men, they say that in order for them to get the girl, they got to be financially right? So they got to have money, right? And this is basically because you're going to be attracting a woman who is completely imbalanced anyway. Because suppose you met a girl and she met you while you were not at your best. But then this man, his motivation was basically this feminine in the physical realm, in the form of a girl that he met. Now, the reason why she's a powerful motivator for him is because naturally his masculine energy turned on and he wants to provide for her naturally. That's what the masculine wants to do, provide for the feminine, right? So this made him successful, and she was supporting him throughout the entire way. But the girl wasn't with him for the money, she was with him for him, right? But this has a lot to do with the character of the man to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So either way you put it, life is going to mirror back many different scenarios for you to acquire certain things that you want in this realm. You could do this by yourself, where if you really got to know your feminine nature, you will attract, okay, anything you want in this reality. You will even attract a lot of money. You will attract a partner that's also in that same exact flow, but you married yourself first. You fell in love with the feminine within you first. You guys made a chemistry and a bond. You became one. Christ consciousness. You found that light within you, because for you to turn yourself on, you would need a negative chemistry if you're a man. And if you're a woman, you would need that positive chemistry. That turning on is not a lustful turn on. It's a turn on that lights you up from within. You become the light. That's you now having a Christ-like energy. The consciousness is basically the nervous system channeling this energy within you. That's why they tell you when you have Kundalini awakenings and whatnot, if you're not ready, you can't handle that kind of current. That's literally channeling Jesus Christ through you. It's an energy, and it's a consciousness, right? And it's not a religious type of energy. It's an energy of masculinity. And this energy basically is what gives you that vitality and drive to do what you got to do, even take risks. You got to really think about it, though. You know how Jesus died for our sins, right? You would have to put yourself in situations of vulnerability at times. But this would come down to you having the mental fortitude to withstand those things. In other words, going to things without fear, without any type of worries of what your character can look like. I compare it with like MMA fighter, like Ilia Topuria. He basically said that he was going to knock out Charles Oliveira in the first round. Imagine if he didn't do that. His credibility would be in the toilet. But he had so much faith that that was going to happen that he did it anyway. This is the type of faith you would have to have in yourself. So you would almost look like a prophet, like you're predicting the future, but you are actually basing it on the fact that you are It's like when I worked in I work in sales, right? I project sales. I look at my sales sheets from before, and I can project what's to come, and I can prepare accordingly, right? When they're trying to predict the weather, right? It's called a forecast. So they can predict it, and they can even, to be honest with you, now they got weather modifications. They can make it happen anyway. But it would need people's attention and belief in the fact that that is going to occur, and it would more likely occur because of the attention that got put onto. That's why they call it a forecast, right? You're predicting the weather. So you predict the things that you're going to do, but it wouldn't be anything unless you prepare for it first. So I'll give you an example. Ilia Topuria celebrated his win already without even being in the octagon yet. He didn't even fight yet, but he predicted his win. How did he predict his win? Because he already did his training camp. So he completed his training camp. And because the training camp was completed, they already celebrating victory. The victory happened the moment the training camp completed. That means he acquired every natural tool, skill, and energy to overcome whatever obstacle is coming his way in the form of another man called Charles Oliveira. Okay? This is why you would, after the training or during the training, you would have press conferences and whatnot. You're going to have scenarios and things that are going to actually test your gangster. It's going to have you doubt whether you can actually do this or not. So you go through your training camp, you may have people and the betting odds bet against you. You may have the media predicting that you might not win. You would have to overcome all that. The moment you have faith in yourself only and you blur out all that noise, it's inevitable that you are going to be successful. You will channel that energy, and you know it firsthand because you already see it happening that way. And it sounds cliche, but the celebration comes after your work has been put in. You're 100% sure that the tools you need are going to be enough to overcome any obstacles that you are going to be facing up against. Okay? Now, when it comes to the law of attraction, they'll talk about like attracts like. All right? And then you'll also hear a certain saying that says that opposites attract. When you hear this, right, this can be looked at in many different ways. You see, opposites attract in the sense where the opposite of what a man is actually a woman, okay? Whether you're a complete man or a person or not, suppose you got holes in your games and whatnot, you'll attract the same partner that you are. You'll attract what you are. But the thing is, the blessing in disguise here is that you're always going to be able to point out the holes in her game, and you'll be pointing fingers, and it'll appear like she's holding you back, when in actuality, you're looking at a mirror image of yourself. And when you see this happening, all right, this is where you would actually put more of this practice into play. A woman is supposed to be a motivating factor to you, especially if you're doing something in the physical realm, because she's a physical person. If it's something where you're trying to acquire a certain level of power within you, let's say spiritual powers, whatever that may mean to you, you know what I'm saying? I can get into another video on what that is, aside from what you would acquire here in the physical realm. A woman is a motivation, but if she's not motivating to you, then you're with the wrong girl. You know what I'm saying? And you're with her for comfort, familiarity, reliability, comfort, and just mainly just fear of being alone. And it's just all ego. And this only happened because your relationship ran its course. Because the woman is always going to be motivating. Always. This is a sort of a wake-up call. And when you see this, analyze your life and see how you feel sexually, how you feel energetically, mentally, in all kinds of ways. Here's another thing that's very important. So when we say opposites attract, that's where I talked about the woman. Like attracts like. Okay? You may attract another person that you may just come in contact with. You're friends with this individual, right? Suppose you're a man and you find another man and you somehow have more of a masculine trait. You'll probably find a man with a little bit more of a feminine trait. And this right here is how you both have a relationship with each other. But you're supporting each other in a way where you're supporting a structured relationship, whether it's toxic or whether it's in the interest of growth. Because if it was two masculine men, it most likely there would be a lot of friction. Okay? They would try to out-masculine each other. But since one is feminine and one is masculine, one naturally would look up to the other, and the other naturally likes the fact that he can have somebody to look up to, or somebody to guide, somebody to be guided from. Analyze all these little things in your life as far as like, what does like attracts like, or opposites attract mean? That, in a sense, let's say if we have two people warring with each other. I give you the example again of Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. They're both going to go against each other, right? Notice how I said against. They're actually supporting each other by fighting each other, trying to knock each other out. But they're supporting each other in in the interest of getting money, but it's supporting a system, meaning the UFC. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, whatever you're doing and polarizing to, you are supporting a system. So when you're with a girl and you're working on a project, you're supporting a system. Whether the system is rigged or corrupt or whatnot, you're still supporting the same system. This happens in politics. This happens in many different ways. If you are working on your spiritual growth, the world is disconnected from you. In other words, here's the funny part. Creation's created. You're working on your spiritual growth through the body, which is a part of creation. The body is part of the creation. So you're working on your spiritual growth through your creation that's projecting your reality. Suppose we say that creation's already created, right? You can only mold and shape your circumstances, but that would require you disconnecting from the stuff that's blinding you so that you can find the light within you, and you start to shed more light on those holes in your game. Then when you open up your eyes and explore the world, you will see that the things outside of you will start to be what you weren't aware of. You'll be more aware of them. You're now embodying more masculine energy, but because you paid attention to your woman. When you're in a relationship with a woman, you are spending time with her, going through ups and downs with her. You're going through many different scenarios and things, right? So when we look at it from this perspective, we're doing this with our body. Because your body, supposing you want to work on a project, right? Your head is going toward, let's say if you're aware you don't want to be in a situation anymore, but you start to work toward something, what ends up happening? Now you start to feel a certain way. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel familiar. You'll start to get the doubts and worries like this isn't really working. You're just wasting your time, right? And then a person who's weak-minded may agree with that, and you just got led by the woman rather than you keeping the woman in check and having the woman follow you. Because again, where the head goes, the body follows. The body's going to feel, but feeling is the key. That's where the secret comes in. So you start to say, how do I feel right now? Observe how you feel and still work through it. Because through logic and reasoning, you are projecting a forecast. You know how it's going to come out either way, and you let the body know that everything is going to be okay. Even though the body may complain, the body's not used to it because the body can't tell the difference between a real or fake experience. But within you, you have to project that reality, visualize it, and become emotionally involved with it. And then when you're working on the projects, it may feel foreign, but because your body's not used to it. But you got to override those programs because the body wants to stay in the same exact loop. The body's obedient. So suppose it that you are working on your projects and it doesn't work out. There's something wrong with the head. The church. Spend more time in your church. And then put more work into practice. But this has to be done with laser precision focus. And the reason why is because we're in a realm of time. Your heart rate is connected to this time. And where you put your time, your heart is connected to that. You see what I'm saying? So when we do, for example, certain jobs like 9-to-5 jobs, you're totally disconnected from yourself. You're just catering to a system, and it's all in the interest of survival because you feel, see, if I'm scratching a lot, I got a freaking mosquito bite in my back. But either way, you're connected from yourself. Okay? So you are basically in survival mode. The feminine energy depends on survival from the masculine. So because, let's say, for example, in the beginning of this video, I talked about how the masculine acquires resources. The girl may be with you because she's attracted to the comfort and the reliability she could have in you to provide for her and help her on her survival state. So she's going to depend on your resources. Now, a woman who has faith in her man, either way, even though they don't have much physically, okay, that's innately in her, but her interest is not in the physical. Her interest is in what her man is actually doing. And that's how she becomes the backbone of that man. She becomes the backbone. She becomes the support unit. So that's why you hear the word, whenever you're doing something, life supports you, the universe supports you. You'll have a physical manifestation of this as a woman. And if you don't have a woman that's literally supporting you in the physical, then she's not the one for you. She's only going to hold you down. That's why they'll make you think like women are portrayed under a certain negative light. So this is very important to know that It doesn't matter what's happening outside of you, whether women are corrupt or not. You're creating that within yourself. That all comes from within you. So, in actuality, the nervous system is God in this instance, because it's going to glitch when you try to do something. If you're trying to do something of a higher frequency, you're going to glitch, right? The lights are going to go off. The woman gets scared in the dark. It's up to you to get the lights back on, or comfort the woman in that darkness and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm talking about the body here. I'm just using the correlations of a woman, because your body is the woman. Your body is the earth, product of nature, Mother Nature. The awareness is masculine. The conscious mind, yet look how much little power it has. Only 5%. 95% is ruled by the subconscious mind. So you would have to convince your woman to receive a new reality, and she has to buy into it. But the moment you keep lying to yourself, if you say you're going to do something and don't do it, the girl just starts to feel like you're just full of shit in the form of the body. The nervous system starts to glitch because the current can't be held, right? You didn't update the wiring system, so you can't channel this higher frequency of energy. This is why you focus on your health, on your what you're channeling through you, because you don't want to corrode this nervous system or corrupt it. So you have the mind, you have the subconscious mind. This is the little tip of the iceberg, and then there's a big boulder underneath, right? All health starts in the gut. You got all the microbiome there, all the bacteria in the deep, deep ocean. Something that technology in real life can't do, which is go to the bottom of the ocean. But I just told you that your body is a product of nature, a reflection of this world. If you want to know what's at the bottom of the ocean, just go within yourself. If you want to know what's in outer space, practice doing out-of-body experiences, because you can't really go outer space. You can only do this the same way. The techniques that you would acquire going out of body is the way you can visit other planets. There is no other way. If you like, and we'll talk soon.